Evening guys, welcome to another devotional. Today we are going to be in Isaiah chapter 9 verse 6 and 7, which says, "For a child is born to us, a son is given to us, the government will rest on his shoulders, and he will be called Wonderful Counselor, Mighty God, Everlasting Father, Prince of Peace. His government and its peace will never end. He will rule with fairness and justice from the throne of his ancestor David for all eternity. The passionate commitment of the Lord of Heaven's armies will make this happen." This is a prophetic message that was given over 700 years before the events of the Gospels took place, stating how Jesus, the Messiah, is going to be born here on earth, how he's going to be an ancestor of King David, how he's going to rule for all of eternity, hold many titles of leadership and authority, how his rulership will be one of peace, justice, and fairness, how it will actually be God that makes this happen, and how it will actually be God who is on the throne. And as we celebrate Christmas, let's remember what we're celebrating. This is what we're celebrating. We're celebrating that Christ came here to earth. Regardless of what day he actually was born on, let's sit and remember the significance of what Christmas means. It is a day that we are setting aside to remember and to celebrate the fact that Jesus Christ, God himself, came in the flesh, humbling himself to be born as a baby, to live a perfect sinless life, to give so many teachings that we can just reap so much from, and then to die for us, for our sake, and then to rise again, and now he sits in heaven with all that happens passing before his throne in heaven. Now, we can think of the first part of verse 6, which says, Christ came to earth, that a child is born. And that is a beautiful thing to remember. Now, we mustn't forget that second part as well, where it says, a son is given to us. Not simply just stating, yes, an ancestor of King David, so a son, but also remembering that Christ was God the Father's Son, that he gave his Son because he loved us, his creation, and that Christ humbled himself willingly because he too loved the Father and he loves us as well. The Father gave his Son, as it says in Matthew 1, verse 21, to save us from our sin. God acted in love for his creation, for us. And so he willingly sent his Son to earth to die for us. And that's because he desires a right relationship with us. And so he then, through Christ's death, offers us eternal life through Christ, and he offers us to be adopted by him, to be called sons and daughters, to be given all that comes with that as well, and there's just so much. And so, as Christ came, humbling himself from his position in heaven, to live, to die, to rise again, he's then also elevated to the position of highest honor, as we read about in Philippians chapter 2. We remember that baby who we celebrate at Christmas, we celebrate being born in a manger with those humble beginnings, now sits in heaven, that he was already God, and he humbled himself to that position, and then now he has been elevated to the position of highest honor, that he sits in heaven with all that happens passing before his throne, and that one day he will come again with shouts of glory, and that he will reign in this rulership of peace and justice. That baby in a manger is God over all. And he desires a relationship with each and every one of us today, this Christmas, and for all eternity forevermore. So if you don't know him, today is the day of salvation. Trust that Christ came and died for you personally, individually, that Christ came and he knew you before you were even a thought in your mother. To just say, hang on a minute, Christ knew that I existed before I even existed. Christ knew that I would exist, 2,000 years later than he was here on earth. And he knew that, and he paid for your sin individually upon the cross. To sit and to remember that, and to trust that Christ did actually do that. And then to say, okay, Lord, then I trust that you've done that you wiped my debt clean. And so I can actually be forgiven because justice has been paid for upon the cross, that Christ has suffered the punishment that I justly deserve. And when we trust upon the finished work of the cross, that's it. That's what God calls us to. As it says in Romans 10 verse 9, that we would trust and believe that we can then receive eternal life. And so let's seek to live rightly before him, considering all that he has done, considering the fact that he loves us more than any other person ever has and ever will. And if you know him, let's draw closer to him. Not getting bogged down by everything that this world pushes at us, all the entertainment that can easily crowd our lives. But instead of waiting for the time, let's make the time to invest in our relationship with him, the one who has given his life for us. So let's come to him in prayer and in thanksgiving for all he has done, and let's read his letter to us, the Bible, so that we can learn more of him and so that we can deepen our relationship with him. So I'll leave you with that